This is Kim Turner, and in this video I'm going to show you how to create a macro and then assign a button to that macro so that all you need to do is click on the button and it will run the macro that you created. So let's first create the macro. Now what a macro is it is a recording of steps that you use on a consistent basis. So let's say that you're adding people into this application, and in this case they're donors, and you are entering the data for each person, and you'd like to go back to the dashboard. You want to look at the dashboard and look at the statistics after you've entered that person. So we're going to create a short macro that takes you back to the dashboard sheet. So we'll notice first that this sheet is protected and the workbook is protected. So when a workbook is protected, it means that you can't delete any sheets. You'll notice if I right click on the sheet tab that the delete or rename or move or copy, all of those are grayed out, and that's because the workbook, the whole workbook, is protected. Now when the sheet is protected, it just means that you can't change any of the contents of the cell. If you tried to type something, then it won't let you. Okay, and so it's beneficial to protect a sheet and not put a password on it, because users are not going to want to try to change the sheet. They'll just be typing information in, and you don't want them to move anything around or change any of the names in the cells. And so I want you to just see that this sheet is protected right now. When it shows unprotect sheet, that means it wants you to click on it to unprotect the sheet. So this short macro is going to allow the user to click on the button so that it goes back to the dashboard sheet. So the first thing I'm going to do is click on the developer tab, and then I'm going to click on record macro. So I'm not recording yet. I'm only recording once I click on this OK button. Alright, so first we're going to enter the macro name, and the name is going to be show dashboard with an underscore in between because we don't want spaces in names. We're not going to assign a shortcut key. We want to store the macro in this workbook, and we're going to put a short description here. Not too many people look at the description, only macro users, so just put something real short for maybe someone else that takes over the management of the sheet. So display the contents of the dashboard. Alright, now once I click OK, then I'm going to start recording. And so you can be very careful with your steps, because anything that you click on in your sheet or cells or anything that you type is going to be recorded. So you just want to go very slow, and if you don't do something correctly, then you can always delete the macro and start over again. And this macro is simply going to click on the dashboard sheet and then go to the cell A1, and that's it. That's the recording. So I'm going to stop the recording, and then I check my macros list to make sure that it's there. Yes, it is, show dashboard, so I'll cancel out of that. And now I'm going to create a macro button on my donor sheet, and I want my macro assigned to this image here. So I'm going to right click on the image and then go to assign macro. Now if you're not able to do this, then make sure that your sheet is unprotected. Alright, so you should have this icon on the review tab say protect sheet. That means it's unprotected because it wants you to click on it to protect it. Alright, so now right click, assign the macro to this image, and then click on show dashboard because that's the one we created, and then click OK. Now protect the sheet and don't assign a password because people forget passwords. And now you should be able to click on this button and it'll go right to the dashboard sheet, and you'll notice that A1 is selected. Alright, so let's create a macro that has a few more steps to it. So I'm going to click on the donation sheet, and here's the data for the donors that are entered in the donors sheet. And what this macro is going to do is it's going to add the information that the user added in the donors sheet to the table in the donation sheet. And it's going to add the information as a row at the very top of that table. So it's going to be the first row. So we're going to get started by first going to the developer tab and then clicking on record macro. and so the macro is not going to be recording yet until we add the name and then click OK, and then the recording is going to start. So let's first type in add donor and the description, real quick description, and then click OK, and you can go as slow as you want because the macro is just going to combine all of your steps in a split second. It's going to perform them, so you can go as slow as you want through the steps. I'm going to click OK, and the first step I'm going to do is go to the Review tab and unprotect the sheet. Then I'll click on B5 and click on the Home tab and insert a row, so just click on the insert icon. Then go over to the donors sheet and select C5 through C15. Then click on the copy icon in the clipboard group and go over to donations, and here I'm going to paste the information into the first row by going to paste, then paste special. So click on that down arrow under paste, click on paste special, and we're only going to paste the values and number formats. So no fill color, no font color is going to be pasted. So click on values and number formats. Then I want to transpose the data, and that means taking it from a column and pasting it as a row. So that's what transposing is. So check that box and then click OK, and the information is pasted into the row. Then I'm going to go to the Review tab, protect the sheet, click OK, and I'm finished recording my macro. So I go to Developer tab and stop recording. So now I want to make sure that my macro works and there's no bugs in it. So what I'll do is I'll change the data. So I'll pretend that a new donor is entered into the donor sheet. I'll say that they donated, let's say, $50,000, and it's in person, and then just change the name. And now I want to run this macro to make sure it works. So I'm going to go to the donation sheet, and I'm going to go to macros to run my macro. The macro is called add donor, so I click on that, make sure it's selected, and then simply click on run. And a new row should be added. Yep. And this is the information that I just changed right now, so it looks like my macro works. And now I'm ready to add a macro button. Okay, so my button is going to be entered right at the bottom of the data that was entered by the user. And I want to create a button by going to Developer tab and then click this Insert down arrow. And the first icon on the left is a button. So go ahead and click on that. It's like a text box. So you can start at the left and just drag, and it's going to create that button. So we want to assign a macro to the button, and we're going to click on Add Donor because that's the macro we just created. And you'll notice it's called, it has a name. Now you can change that name by right-clicking on it and then go to Edit Text. And I take my cursor to the very right, and then I delete that information. And we're going to make the name of the button called Add New Donor. Alright, then click off of it and you'll see your button there. So now let's protect the sheet. So Review tab, Protect Sheet, and then OK. So now you can't change any of the information in this area, and you can only click on the button. See, the hand comes up. That means that you can just select the button. Now that you have a couple macros created in your workbook, you want to make sure that the workbook is saved as an Excel macro-enabled workbook. So go to File and then Save As, and change it to a macro-enabled workbook because the macros won't save in a regular Excel workbook. So that's important. Now you're ready to follow the steps to add your macro button and assign the macro named Add Donor.